Okay, what if I told you that there are computers smaller than a grain of sand that could be floating in the air all around you right this second? Sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie, right? Well, it's a very real technology called smart dust. So let's unpack how this invisible revolution is already happening and what it really means for the future of our privacy.
So, what exactly is smart dust? I mean, really, imagine these microscopic computers, they call them motes, and each one can sense what's happening around it, process that info, and then talk to all its neighbors. We are literally talking about a network of sensors so incredibly small it can just drift on the wind, creating this invisible, all seeing web. And get this isn't some newfangled idea. It actually started way back in the 90s as a DARPA project, for monitoring battlefields. But just look at how fast things are moving. Fast forward to 2022, and a major bank, Wells Fargo, gets a patent for it, for commercial use. And the next step on the horizon? Neural dust, a technology that could literally plug into your mind. The jump from military theory to a potential brain-computer interface is happening shockingly fast. So how in the world does military tech end up in your wallet? Let's dig into that Wells Fargo patent. Because this is the point where this abstract threat gets incredibly real and incredibly personal. This isn't just about data anymore. This is about using a cloud of invisible computers to verify that you are, well, you. Okay, so try to picture this. You go to make a payment. Suddenly, a cloud of these motes is released all around you. The system then cherry-picks the ones with the best signal, and they immediately start collecting everything. A snapshot of your biometrics, the sound of your voice, maybe even your facial features. Then it uses the unique ID numbers from those specific motes to create a one-time use smart key that says, yep, this person is who they say they are. On paper, it sounds pretty sophisticated, right? A key made from a random swirl of hundreds of invisible computers seems impossible to crack. But, with any fortress, the real question isn't just how strong the front gate is. It's about whether there are any other ways to get in. Now, this is where it gets really interesting. This chart shows you just how strong it seems. If you try to just guess the combination of motes, what's called a brute force attack, the difficulty just explodes. With just 10 motes, you could crack it in seconds. At 100, you're looking at hours. But with 200 motes, the number of combinations is so huge it would take centuries to guess. Looks unbreakable, doesn't it? And this is where that whole illusion of security just crumbles. That centuries-long protection only works if an attacker is trying to smash down the front gate. But smart hackers, they don't do that. They're looking for an open window on the side of the house. And this quote from a security analysis just lays it all bare. It points out some huge vulnerabilities. The mote IDs might not be so random after all. And more importantly, the patent has side channels. Think of it like this. Even if you can't hear a conversation through a wall, maybe you can see the shadows of the people talking under the door. That's a side channel. Information is leaking out. In this case, things like signal strength could give an attacker huge clues, knocking that centuries calculation down to maybe just a few months, or who knows, maybe even less. So we've seen how this tech puts our financial data at risk. But the basic idea, using microscopic sensors to watch the physical world, it's not stopping at your bank account. Like we saw on the timeline, the next big step is to take that exact same idea and turn it inward. So, welcome to the world of neural dust. The difference here is profound, and honestly, it's a little chilling. Smart dust that senses the world around you, neural dust is being designed to sense the world inside you. We're shifting from collecting data about your environment to potentially recording and even stimulating your own neural activity directly. And this isn't just a wild idea. This concept came out of UC Berkeley way back in 2013. These modes are powered by ultrasound, which is also how they communicate from inside the body. And surprise, surprise, DARPA is a major player here too, funding it for non-surgical brain-computer interfaces. The potential is just staggering. On one hand, you have medical miracles, like helping people with paralysis. On the other, the terrifying possibility of someone accessing a person's brain without their consent. Okay, so with such powerful and invisible threats looming, the big question is, how do we possibly defend ourselves? Well, this is where researchers are shifting from just analyzing the threat to actually building a defense. And that defense is called a GSNES. Right, so you can't build a shield if you don't know what kind of sword you're up against. That's why the first AegisNet prototype is a simulator.
It's basically a virtual battleground where researchers can model attacks from smart dust and even future neural dust tech. It lets them test out defenses and find weak spots before these threats are ever really out there in the world.
The second prototype is more of an active defense. Think of it like a digital watchdog that's always listening, always on alert. It's designed to scan for those very specific ultrasonic signals that power and communicate with neural dust motes. It could spot an unauthorized brain-computer interface in real time.
And how well does it work? This is what's so promising. Even in these early stages, the neural dust detector has shown a 90% detection rate against simulated threats. It's proof. It shows that even though the threats are microscopic, building a defense that actually works is absolutely possible. So, let's zoom out and pull this all together. What have we really learned here? As technology keeps shrinking to the point of being totally invisible, the old rules of privacy and security, they have to be completely rewritten.
So what's the bottom line? Well, we've seen that as tech gets smaller, the risk to our privacy just explodes. We've also learned that a super complex lock doesn't mean a thing if a hacker can just find an open window. That means we have to be proactive, building shields like AegisNet before the attack even comes. And maybe most importantly, we have to realize this isn't a battle that's ever really won. It's going to require constant, eternal vigilance.
Which leaves us with this final, and I think critical question. When computers completely disappear from our desks and our hands, and they become these invisible motes in the air, or even inside our own bodies, how do we even begin to protect what is most uniquely ours, our privacy, our autonomy, and ultimately our own thoughts?